If you let this striving for perfection stand in front of you, you'll never get anything done. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, just don't care, because like you have to have a bar. But I think it's important to really define what like good enough means to you.
Hey, welcome to Scaling with Confidence. I'm Olu Sobanjo, entrepreneur, coach, consultant, and pastor, here to bring you dynamic conversations with high-level individuals who are scaling 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. We believe that every entrepreneur has a unique story and purpose that can inspire others and positively impact the world. And if you are an entrepreneur who's ready to share your journey and insight, visit scalingwithconfidence.com/guest to apply to be a guest on the show. You are going to love this show. You're going to hear real stories from real people who are ready to inspire, challenge, and empower you. We don't just talk business strategy, we dive deep into the personal stories, challenges, and mindset that come with scaling a successful business. So let's go. It's so good to have you, Bethany. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit more about you and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of SendSpark. SendSpark's a video platform for businesses to connect more personally with their customers. My background is in marketing and customer communication, so I've been doing that for a long time. And at my last company, I was working really closely with my now co-founder, and we are just talking about how like the typical ways that people go about connecting with prospective customers online just feels really inauthentic. And what can we do to make reaching out to a new customer feel a lot more personal? So we ended up building a video platform, and we really focus on sales communication. But our idea is to make the sales process like really fun and engaging for both the seller and the person on the other end receiving the email. So in SendSpark, you can create personalized videos at scale. You can send them out in any of your prospecting sequences. And, you know, the idea is be more human, be more genuine, and you're going to see a lot better results.
For sure. I'm a user. I mean, I talk about videos. I help people scale with videos. So it has to be videos for me, right? To connect with my prospects and my clients too. And I can clearly attest to the fact that SendSpark is the real deal. Yeah. So now let's go back to your journey to like, how did you even think you could create a video platform?
Yeah. Well, I want to say I'm like a reckless optimist. So I think like starting, you know, when my now co-founder and I were working on another job, we're like, yeah, like this needs to exist. We want to use it. You know, why not just build it? And there's so many things that, you know, we didn't foresee being challenges to overcome, but then, you know, you just kind of start and challenge comes and you deal with it, and the other one comes and you deal with it. Yeah, I'd say like I definitely didn't know how hard it would be to start and run a business, but if I did, I would do it anyway. It's super fun and rewarding.
That's brilliant. That's so good. And yeah, so the challenges, I'd like to find out a little bit, you know, before we start to talk about how you can use SendSpark and all that. I'd like to find out, you know, somebody may be there, maybe they have some ideas. Take us through what happened. Like, how did you, from the idea of this should exist, now what did you do next?
Yeah. So from it should exist, well, we both, you know, left our job to like really focus on it and try to build it. We talked to a lot of people, and one of the main things we wanted to figure out is like what are the biggest risks and how do we validate them. And it's funny because like that's still our framework today. SendSpark's nearly 4 years old, but it's always like what are our biggest risks right now and how do we eliminate those risks as soon as possible. So when we started, I mean, this was like before COVID. Like it's hard to remember, like this was a world where people did not just like hop on video all the time.
That's true.
So one big risk was like, are people going to use video? Like, you know, we were testing out our company. We knew it could work. You know, right at the time, like just video wasn't like fast enough to really use for sales communication.
Mhm.
But we're like, we know when it works, people like receiving them. But the
Mhm.
question is, are people going to make them? So we talked to a lot of people. We had this like super ugly MVP, and we were having our friends in sales just like record videos and send it out to see if they would do it. And what's interesting is we actually learned a lot in that process because when we started, we were more geared towards marketers. Like that was my background is more on the marketing side. So, we were seeing if marketers would do it. And we found out quickly they want marketers want to set things up. They, can operate things, but like they rarely want to be in front of the camera. And so we learned that super early on. And then we pivoted to focus more on sales teams and found like our friends in sales are like, they're big risk takers. They're like, yeah, let's go. Like, oh,
That's
you have a
true.
challenge? Let's go. Like, I'm down. I'll be recording videos. Yeah. So we were working on that. And then it's hard to think of what other like risks kind of showed. Oh, and then, it's kind of like, well, what platform do we build it on? Should this be mobile or desktop? Where are people going to use it more? And so, that's just kind of been our process, like figure out anytime what's the biggest risk and
Yeah.
what's the fastest way to test it, and then figure out what move to take next.
Wow. Just listening to you, it's just amazing to hear the story of how you built this. Now, you have your background in marketing. Your
Mm-hmm.
partner, is he an engineer?
He's a product designer.
I see. Okay. So product designer, like software and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I see. I see. And now you worked together before that, right?
Yeah, we actually worked at two other startups together. So I've literally never had a job that I was not working with him. I cannot imagine working without him because my first job out of college was a startup in San Antonio, Texas. And we were kind of put together. I was in marketing and he was in design. And then we both worked in another startup together after that for a bit. And then we started SendSpark. So in my entire career, yeah, we've worked together. He is amazing. Like he is just a brilliant like product thinker. And it's kind of funny because like I feel like I have all these strategies. I read a lot, like, and I always have a scientific approach for everything. And he's like, he'll just figure everything out, and he'll be like, "Oh, I have this idea," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a framework I read about yesterday." But he can just like think of it and think in a different way, which is why I think SendSpark, and you can attest this as a customer, is like it's very well designed
Yeah.
because my co-founder is a product designer and he obsesses about every detail to make it perfect.
For sure, for sure. And we get to enjoy that, you know. We get to enjoy a lovely product, you know, that does what it's supposed to do and more, right? That is just good. Now, somebody is out there and they're looking at, so we're still talking your business concepts and ideas around starting a business right now and going full scale into creating a product and all that. What would you say is the most common thing that hinders people from actually jumping out?
I think fear of failure is like a really big thing, and it's really hard to get around that, especially for people that are used to being very successful. Because like if you're running your own company, like no one's gonna give you an A+, you know? Like all you're gonna hear is like negativity or other people wanting to get an A+ from you. So it's a very different perspective. So I think that like the biggest thing that really can hold people back is just like fear of doing things wrong. And that's something like I have to deal with every day too, to be like, hey, is this new feature good enough to ship? Is this marketing email good enough to send? Is this blog post good enough to post? But if you let this striving for perfection stand in front of you, you'll never get anything done. And I'm not saying like, oh, well, just don't care, because like you have to have a bar. But I think it's important to really define what like good enough means to you, and then and also be comfortable evolving that with time and just kind of doing it. And it helps to have another person you're working with. So I'll say like a lot of times I might err on the side of shipping too soon, and my co-founder, who's more meticulous about design, will hold me back and be like, fix these things. So it's nice to have like that kind of balance. I don't want to be like, oh, just don't care, take every risk, it's fine, but like maybe lean a little more towards that direction than you normally would.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Because in order to scale, also, you need to be able to weigh your risks and see what to leverage and what not to worry about and just keep going. And so now, once you started rolling out SendSpark to people, you mentioned how marketing expert didn't want it. Like They weren't they wanted the pretty
Well, they didn't
stuff.
want to be in front of the camera. Yeah. But I mean, basically, yeah, we're like, hey, we have a tool that you can record yourself. Be in front of the camera. They're like, oh, wow, that's so interesting. Great idea. And you're like, do you want to use it? And they're like, just like
Not
nothing. You
today.
know, you're like, okay.
That's actually a big point right there, because sometimes you think the people that need your product, you're so sure these are the people that need your product. And as I coach people in videos as well, a lot of entrepreneurs will go into thinking my product, these are the people that really need to get this product, especially
No.
their friends and family, like, get it, you need this, and soon they start to discover that they're like the pot seller, the person that brings people
Yeah.
together over a party to buy the products no matter what, right?
Mhm.
But actually what you're saying, I am getting from this is, you may have it wrong, right? The people that need it, that would value it, and I actually desperately looking for a solution to a problem would be better, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that.
I am sure that's a big miscommunication that people solve a problem that
Yeah.
people don't want solved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that's what you want to validate. It's not just about fixing someone or like fixing something for someone. It's about making sure they know that something that should be fixed.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, it's just so brilliant that you're bringing this real life experience of this problem, and a lot of business owners have it, especially when it comes to communicating the value of their product. The problem is not that whether your product is good or not. The product we already know is good, right? But now in the wrong hands, it's not. It doesn't have the same value, right? So I love that. I love that. So now tell us a little bit more about, so you mentioned something earlier on about, loving startups. Okay. After a while, SendSpark is not going to be a startup, right? What's the plan?
Well, one thing I love about startups is that it continues to evolve. And I was actually just thinking about this last night, so I'm so happy we're talking about it. But you're always working on something new because as soon as you figure something out, that's no longer your biggest challenge.
That's true.
So I don't want to say like, oh, I love startups because we're a small, intimate team. Like I love that. But what I really love is the fact that every day is different, and we've even now just gotten to a new stage where I used to spend most of my time working on product challenges, and now I'm really spending more of my time working on growth challenges. And like that's because we made it to the next level. Our product's in a really good spot, and soon I'm sure I'll be working more on people challenges and finding the right people to really make up a team. So I think that growth is inherent to startups, and it's kind of cool how as a leader you get to see the evolution.
I love that. I love that. Now, what kind of leader do you need to be to be able to scale a business? Since you just talked about leadership just now, in your own opinion, what kind of skills do you need to, build or hone to grow and scale a business?
Yeah. So personally, I feel that it's really about being authentic to yourself. Like, I don't think there's a right type of leader that someone should strive to be. I think the most important thing is being authentic and then working with people who value you for what you bring to the table. And that's what makes company culture different and why people like working at different companies or with different brands is that, unique, I don't know how to say it, like the interpersonal dimensions. So I don't think that anyone should try to be more charismatic or less charismatic or really change who they are. I think you should just try to really be yourself and find people who like working with you. And then also just, in general, be a really good listener and try to make sure, your team's in a good spot and you're involved in what's going on. But curious what you think about that, by the way. I want
Yeah,
to turn
no, I love that. As a matter of fact, I'm working on expanding my team right now. And I've been, recruiting individuals and companies to work with that would help scale things for me. And what you just mentioned is like a no-brainer. People that love you for who you are. And
yeah.
it's just I can totally agree with you because I remember just going through some of the videos that I got yesterday of people that are applying,
And I could, from, easily spot people that I feel connected to. And talking about videos again, because you're able to connect with people, you're able to know them, and you're able to sense whether they connect with you as well.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree more what you just said. Yeah. So now, scaling is, everybody wants to scale. Okay. I know SendSpark is now in the thousands, right? Users. Okay. How did you scale? What general concept, okay, would you suggest to someone out there that is saying, I'd love to scale my business? Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So I think the first thing you have to do before you're ready to scale is really focus on building something that a core group of people really, really cares about. Like you can't go for scale before you have your core group down, because then what happens is you have so many like core user types that you're trying to like please everyone. You can't do it. And we kind of, I don't like want to say we really made that mistake, but we started making that mistake a little bit early on. And then we had to cut out some different use cases and really focus. So I'd say, yeah, make sure you're building something that a small group of people want. And then it's time to start getting more people like that. One of the best things to do is obviously just talk to your users and see, where did they learn about things and where did they spend their time on the internet, or I guess in person even. And then you want to be in those places. So I'll tell you some things that work for us, but like high level, the core is make sure you're building something a type of person wants, find more people like them. Then you can get really creative with it, and that's really fun. So some of the things that we've done, we've really invested in building out a community. And because we want to keep our price point very low, so we're not doing like an enterprise sales approach or really anything that we like, there's trade-offs. Like if you have like an enterprise sales team, like you're kind of choosing, okay, we're going to be charging $1,000 a month or more. So we've really focused on like the product side and adding a personalized experience where things matter, but not like going for a full process sales cycle. So we've done a lot of community building. We have a Slack group that our community can help each other on. We post a lot on LinkedIn and try to engage our audience there. We do a lot of video, email communication. So we aren't doing a ton of like cold outreach, but as soon as we have like inbound qualified leads, we're sending personalized videos. And then we also have a lot of video automation that helps people feel like connected to us, but it's not like, it doesn't require a big team on our end. So that's a really nice way to scale, because you can create a few videos or have different people on your team create a few videos and then embed them in different email sequences. And then we've also tried our best to build virality into the product. So with SendSpark, you can go on a paid plan and remove the branding, but we also have a free plan that people are able to use, sign up for, create videos, and send them out. And that kind of creates a flywheel effect where people are able to use the product, refer more users. And we've actually added an affiliate component there too. So you can add an affiliate link to your videos. So they're incentivized to keep sharing and bring on more customers. These are just a few things I'm thinking of that we've like worked on recently, but every day we're trying to think of like, what's a new way to grow? How do we connect? How do we be different too than what other B2B SaaS are doing? Because you can't really clone a different growth model and stick it in your business.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all those really practical and actually real life things that you did. I'm sure it's helpful for people that are watching this. Now, let's talk a little bit about the use case. I was actually just strategizing today and talking about some of the teams that I'm working with right now. And we have like a map of how things should go, engagement, automation, and all that. Now, give me an idea of, you just mentioned it slightly there or briefly where you talked about, embedding in video, in emails and sequences and all that. What kind of automation, like basic, would you say to a person that would be watching this? Yeah.
Like what kind of automation to set up for marketing? Yeah. So I think, and just to step back, like I think automation is really important because like that's what lets you be scalable, but you also don't want to automate too much too soon. So what I usually recommend is like do some stuff manually, and then when you find yourself repeating yourself, that's when you want to build the automation. So for example, if like every time a new customer signs up, you send a welcome video, like that's awesome. After maybe like 10 or 20 or so, you're going to realize your pitch has like gotten to be more condensed and you're just saying the same thing again and again. And that's like the perfect time to add automation in. Or like if you're helping someone get started and you're like, okay, like maybe you're doing onboarding calls and you're always having people like set one thing up and then another thing up and then another thing up. Like, great. Now that you know that, that should be automated. So it's really like, think about what kind of holes you're plugging manually with people and then build automation in. Because otherwise you run the risk of like over automating where you're just annoying, or like you have so many sequences and things running at once. But yeah, so I would always start at like the user journey and then work your way up. So it's really about making sure you have like a tight like customer experience. Then it's like, all right, that's good. Now let's get more customers, and then we can do more, either outbound emails, video emails, of course, or even maybe you're doing kind of inbound and then you have nurture sequences. Someone goes to your blog and then they can leave their email for something, and then you have a certain sequence in place. So that's kind of my approach. I'm trying to make it as general as possible.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's more strategy for each business, right? But I love the way you said, because we all jump into that, and I've been in that situation before, earlier on, that I had not got a lot of clients from the product, right? And then I invested thousands of dollars into building automation. Okay. Obviously, from the business point of view, you actually run into you learn, right? You learn, but it will be very expensive for you, right?
Yeah. I've seen so many people. I mean, I've done it too, even though I know.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not able to reach out to like 10 people and get a customer manually, you're not going to be able to automate 10,000 emails and get a customer. Like, you're just doing something a little wrong. So like, yeah, just doing the like personal messages, and you can realize it too. Like, one thing I also say is like, if you're going to send out any kind of like outbound email, like, don't just write it in a Google Doc and then put it in your email automation system, because it's gonna look weird. Like, you have to write it in an email and then send it to a real person. And when you do that, you're gonna be like, oh, this sounds super unnatural. Like, why would I say that? And you find yourself making so many things. So you really have to like do the manual before you can automate. Unless you're maybe really, really good at it. But even then, I'd say you still probably want to test, because if you feel cringy sending it to one person, you should not send it to 1,000
Right.
people.
No, you're right. You're right. You're mentioning a lot of really important things, because and that, we breeze over. As a matter of fact, it's not that we breeze over. It's in the scaling, and that's why I'm really loving this conversation. In the scaling business and the marketing world, everybody says, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to," and so we start to measure, scaling and building the business as the automation piece of things, like you're going to do this online business, and before you actually miss this step by step of talking to real people that
Yeah.
have one particular problem that you can solve, right? It's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I love this conversation. Yeah, so now give us a little bit more about where things are going with SendSpark. Do you have any new plans, anything coming up? I know the affiliate system is much structured and much better for you guys now, right? Tell us something new that you're working on.
Yeah. So there's a few things we're doing. And I guess I'll tell you, like, one thing that we're doing that we've been doing since May, and I feel like has been so good for the business, is we're running like daily growth experiments. So like every Monday, my co-founder and I meet and we kind of figure out, what are 7 growth experiments we can run for the week. And some of them are like super fast, like quick things to do and test, and then maybe like a new email campaign or something. And then others are bigger, like maybe a product feature. And so this like mindset of like very rigorously running different growth experiments and testing has been really, really cool. And some of it's all sides of the business, right? Sometimes it's getting more customers, other times it's improving activation and retention. Like, one of the things we're really excited to release soon is a new like onboarding in our application, or it can be churn prevention. Like, we had like 3 people cancel in 1 week because they said they wanted a trim feature. So we're like, all right, we are building a trim feature. We sent it to release today. So as soon as Google approves it, we'll have trimming in SendSpark. Very excited about that.
Very excited. That's good.
So, we're trying to think about things to be that way. So yeah, so that's the mindset. And then some things we're working on. On the product side, the trim feature, we're doing a lot more with personalization at scale. And I think that's really important. And, one important is a differentiator. Like, why should you use SendSpark versus another video platform for your sales communication is because we have this ability to, not just create one video or send one video to a lot of people, but because you're able to dynamically change parts of the video for your audience. Like, that's something very cool. And then we're just, trying a lot of different growth experiments and we're trying to work closer with our customers. Like, we revamped our affiliate portal partially because we were having so many issues we had to, but another part is because we just want to work closer with our partners and like, help our community be part of the future of SendSpark.
I love that. And that's one thing that from the first day I met you, that's the experience that I've had with you. Yeah. And then your team members as well. It's like you guys have the same culture. I was telling Selena the other day, it's just amazing to work with you guys and to see what you're building. Now, do you have any plans of putting SendSpark on mobile?
Oh, maybe. We do. The funny thing is, like, we were going to do it like literally March 2020 because like people were on the road and need videos, and then all of a sudden everyone was locked in at home. So we ended up pushing it off, and now it's like been 2 years, and we just need to come back to it and do it. But yeah, I was just on a call with someone else who was telling me how excited he was to make videos from the phone, and I'm like,
Yeah.
What's that spark? But we definitely need to do it soon. I mean, we did desktop first, so you could kind of make your video and incorporate in different you want to record your product if you do screen recordings and then send it in different email automation platforms. But mobile's coming. I don't have a date yet, but it needs to happen.
I love that. Thank you. No pressure, because I know how hard it can be with SaaS. It's a lot of work and little intricate parts that you need to put together to make it work. So grace to you guys. And but I was just thinking about it too. Like in my business, a lot of times I send video audits to people, to my clients, and or even prospects when I'm meeting them. I'd like to assess the work that they're doing before we jump into actually talking face to face, right? And I find it so useful that I could not only record, like do a screen record and show them what they're doing, pointers that they need to fix here and there. And but I love the fact that there are templates that I've created. And sometimes not for the audits, but for some general things that I'm always constantly repeating. It's just so beautiful to just, as I'm recording it, I put in the templates and it goes out. I just love that.
I'm so happy to hear. Yeah, our idea is like, we want you to be able to personalize things. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, do an AI video. Like, no, you should be able to personalize, but we want to help you personalize what needs to be personalized and then automate what doesn't. So like, we built those templates. So you're not like constantly copying and pasting the same link below your video or the same text. It's like, okay, record a personal message and then choose your template and then send it out. And then we just released combined videos. I don't know if you saw that. So it's the same concept, but you can also have a video. So you can have like a general intro video or overview video and then record a custom intro, combine it, and send it out. So you can really just focus your time on the parts that are important to personalize, but not like repeat yourself. Beautiful. And I think that's really important for scaling.
So you can put one video and then another video and make them one video?
Yeah, look, it looks like a double video. It kind of looks like, if you can think of like a YouTube playlist where it's like part one, part two. Yeah. But it's like in one player. Like it looks cute. Like it's not like but it's not like forced, like wear the same shirt and pretend it's like photos too.
No, the person can know. Like the clients will know that this is a generic video, but it's still the fact that you're still able to add personalization to the beginning and maybe the end, maybe, I don't know, but that is just brilliant. That's
Yeah.
so brilliant. Yeah, because it's either you do that or you learn video editing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, and many of my clients don't even want to, in short, I teach my clients, don't even learn video editing, go hire
It's going to
someone
take
to do
too
it when
long.
you get to
Yeah.
that stage, right? So this is really good, this is really good. All right, before I go to the gift that we have for the viewers, is there anything else, someone is out there that they're on the journey to build their business and scale to 10K months, recurring 10K months? What's one final thing that you'd like to say to them?
I would say don't be upset if it takes a little longer than you expect. I think I think like 10K is both like a high number and a low number. Sometimes you're like, "Oh, I see companies at 1 million and I can't even get to 10K." But like I think that's actually the hardest to go from like 0 to 10K. And like it might take a long time, but don't let the fact that you're not there stop you from getting there. And don't take your revenue number as like feedback on your product too much. Like really just focus on your customers. And if they're loving it, like you will get there. Don't worry if it takes a long time. Just keep grinding. That's the game.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate that, because that is a major thing. And I could literally see the reason why imposter syndrome and the reason why the shiny object syndrome exists. Because, you're like, but I need it to happen like fast, like overnight. you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've
So
talked to so many companies where they're like, "Oh, we made it. We made it from 0 to 1 million in 3 months." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? You started your company 4 years ago." And they're like, "Oh, well, we pivoted 3 months ago." And I'm like, "It doesn't count." But like that's where you hear things and they're just not all true, because people like after they hit certain things, they tell the story they want to tell.
that's true.
And so just, go at your own pace and enjoy the journey and have fun,
That's
you'll
true.
get there.
That's brilliant right there, because the marketing actually, what the story they want to tell is the one that you see, not the full
Mhm.
story.
Yeah.
So thank you. Now I know you have a gift that we're going to be giving our viewers. Where do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
So I'm very excited to offer you 1 month of SendSpark for free. You can use Olu's name when you sign up. So this will work on any of our plans. Just enter OLU on checkout, and you'll get 1 month free. And I think SendSpark can help no matter where you are at your journey, whether you're still doing things very manually and personalized, and you're doing personalized videos, or you're integrating videos into your automation and your onboarding sequences, and you want to have one video and automatically personalize it at scale, or the hybrid approach we were just talking about, where you're recording custom intros on existing videos to do a mix of personalization and scale. SendSpark's designed to help you grow, help you scale, and I hope you use it and get a lot of value from it.
Yes, please, people, use it. Use it. There's a free version too, that you can use, but the paid version would give you a lot more. However, the idea is, Bethany was talking about how to scale, you need to connect with your audience. You need to connect with your members, the clients that you presently have. And video has a big way of connecting you personally with your audience. And so try it out. We're going to put a link to this, and so that you can just go straight from it. There's a link that we have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to just put the link below this, and we're just going to send that to you so that you can get started, and start using SendSpark. Thank you so much, Bethany, for doing this today. I'm super excited that we get to chat about your business and how you've been able to scale to where you are right now. And yeah, please say hi to the team. I'm very grateful for the tool because I use it every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. And viewers, I'll see you in the next video, and talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to Scaling with Confidence. If you'd like to be featured on this show, check us out at scalingwithconfidence.com/cashflow and attend my next live challenge, where I'll reveal the 3 secrets to increasing your visibility for more profit. And if you're an entrepreneur that would like to be celebrated for your success and be on this show, please visit scalingwithconfidence.com/guest. Keep shining. The world needs your light.